Have you ever felt completely overwhelmed by circumstances entirely outside your control? Trapped in a modern maze of endless notifications, societal pressures, and relentless anxiety? We constantly fight against the current of reality, exhausting ourselves in a futile war against the inevitable. Why do we suffer so much over things we cannot change? What if the secret to unbreakable focus and profound peace isn't fighting reality, but completely embracing it? We live in an era characterized by an unprecedented, yet fragile, illusion of control. Modern technology and culture sell us the idea that we can engineer our environments, curate our social feeds to perfection, and predict the trajectory of our lives with absolute certainty. We are taught that if we just optimize our routines, consume the right data, and manipulate our surroundings, we will finally achieve happiness. Yet, when reality diverges from our meticulously crafted blueprints, when a sudden illness strikes, when the economy shifts, when a relationship ends, or when the internet simply goes down, we collapse. Our modern psychological architecture is brittle. We shatter under the weight of the unexpected because we have forgotten how to navigate a world that does not ask for our permission to change. This existential crisis is not uniquely modern. It is a timeless human condition. If we look back to the era of the Roman Empire, we find a society grappling with similar psychological voids. During the Hellenistic period, as traditional Greek philosophy began to lose its metaphysical depth to focus more heavily on the emerging sciences, a profound realization emerged. The study of sciences alone could not bring happiness to the human soul. Empirical data, no matter how accurate, cannot soothe a broken heart or calm an anxious mind. Recognizing this limitation, ancient thinkers sought a new path, a moral philosophy, an art of living that idealized the life of a wise person, based not on external accumulations, but on the rigorous practice of virtue. This was the fertile ground from which Stoicism, an incredibly pragmatic and resilient psychological framework, blossomed and consolidated itself within the Roman world. The Stoics understood that our distress stems directly from a fundamental misunderstanding of the universe and our place within it. We spend massive amounts of our limited daily energy trying to change the unchangeable. We curse the traffic that delays us. We rage at the unpredictable weather, and we are paralyzed by the unpredictable opinions of strangers. But these are elements of the external labyrinth. By trying to command the maze, we lose ourselves within it. The Stoics proposed a radical alternative. Abandon the impossible war against external reality and turn your formidable energy inward. To stop fighting reality, we must introduce a concept that serves as the ultimate antidote to modern anxiety. Amor fati, the love of fate. This is not merely a passive resignation, a defeated shrug of the shoulders, or a victim's sigh in the face of adversity. Amor fati is a fierce, active, and deeply empowering embrace of reality, precisely as it unfolds. It is the understanding that fighting what has already happened is the definition of madness. The great Stoic philosopher Epictetus brilliantly captured the essence of this psychological shift. He taught a fundamental realignment of our desires, stating, "Do not ask things to happen as you wish, but wish them to happen as they do happen, and you will go on well." Read that again, and let the profound utility of those words sink in. Epictetus is handing us the master key to emotional regulation. When you demand that the universe bend to your specific, narrow desires, you set yourself up for continuous, agonizing frustration. You are effectively tying your emotional stability to a chaotic, unpredictable external world. However, when you align your desires with reality, when you wish for things to happen exactly as they are currently happening, you instantly neutralize the friction between your expectations and reality. Imagine the sheer amount of mental bandwidth you would free up if you stopped complaining about the past and stopped agonizing over hypothetical futures. Amor fati is the psychological discipline of looking at a canceled flight, a lost job, or a sudden crisis, and saying, "This is not what I planned, but this is what is required of me now. I will not just accept this, I will use it." This aligns perfectly with the timeless approach of New Acropolis, philosophy as a living practice. It is not about memorizing ancient texts. It is about forging a resilient mindset that transforms obstacles into raw material for personal growth. By loving our fate, we reclaim our agency. We stop being victims of circumstance and become architects of our response. If we concede that we cannot control external events, what exactly is left in our control? The internal domain. The Stoics called the ultimate state of inner peace ataraxia. Today, we might translate this as bulletproof focus, psychological resilience, or flow. But we must be careful not to misunderstand this concept. Ataraxia is not an unproductive stillness, nor is it an emotional numbness or a suppression of feeling. Rather, it is the profound peace that stems from the active practice of virtue and the cultivation of inner harmony. The Stoic method involves a deliberate, conscious rewiring of our emotional reflexes. It requires us to replace our raw, unexamined passions, the volatile forces that make the soul suffer or passively endure pain, with intelligent, active contemplation. When an insult is thrown your way, the unexamined passion demands anger and retaliation. The Stoic response, grounded in ataraxia, inserts a pause between the stimulus and the response. In that pause lies your freedom. You observe the insult, recognize it as external noise, and choose not to let it breach the walls of your inner citadel. The Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius left us a powerful directive for building this inner fortress. He wrote, "Honor in the universe the greatest of forces, that which holds everything. Honor also within yourself the greatest of forces. This is of the same nature as that." He is telling us that the same rational, organizing principle that holds the cosmos together exists within our own minds. By connecting our inner reasoning to the logic of the universe, we fortify our minds against chaos. We realize that our capacity for reason, choice, and virtue is a divine spark, an impenetrable core that no external tragedy can touch unless we willingly surrender the keys. Mastering your reactions is not about fighting your emotions. It is about elevating your perspective so that trivial provocations no longer register as threats. To fully practice amor fati and maintain our inner citadel, we must adopt the Stoic view of the cosmos. Our modern, fragmented worldview often sees the universe as a cold, random, and indifferent place. The ancient Stoics, however, possessed a deeply interconnected vision. They saw the universe as an infinite, living, and unitary matter from which all beings emerge in their vast multiplicity. They believed that the soul of the universe sleeps in the heart of the first fire, an igneous ether from which all elements successively emanate. In this grand cosmic architecture, life is viewed as an eternal cycle that repeats rhythmically, traversing its evolutionary path where each successive cycle offers a greater degree of purification than the last. When we view our lives through this macroscopic lens, our daily anxieties begin to shrink. We realize we are not isolated fragments battling a hostile world, but integral notes in a vast cosmic symphony. Within this framework, the Stoics observe that everything that happens is governed by a fundamental pair of forces: necessity and finality. There is a universal law that makes the facts of our existence necessary, and simultaneously, there is a finality that renders those very same facts useful and imbued with profound meaning. The finality lies in our approximation to the divine, in striving to resemble the universe's intelligent capacity for action. What does this mean for our practical, daily lives? It means that there are no random tragedies in the cosmic sense. What humans commonly perceive and label as evil or misfortune is, from the Stoic perspective, merely a lack of knowledge. It is a temporary blindness. When we suffer, it is often this very pain that provokes a reaction, forcing us to awaken and seek a truer, more just understanding of reality. The obstacle is not in the way. The obstacle is the way. The friction of life is the exact mechanism designed to polish the rough stone of our character into the smooth marble of wisdom. We spend our lives chasing a flawed definition of freedom. We believe freedom means the ability to do whatever we want, whenever we want, free from constraints, obligations, or hardships. But this is the freedom of a leaf blown helplessly by the wind. The Stoics offer a much more powerful, robust definition of liberty. For the Stoic, true freedom is the ability to uniform the human will with divine necessity. As the ancient maxim states, "He is free who freely obeys what necessarily happens." This is the ultimate paradox of Stoicism and its greatest utility. By surrendering the desire to control the uncontrollable, you gain absolute control over the only thing that actually belongs to you: your will. You become untouchable. If it rains, you will it to rain. If you face a setback, you will to use that setback to practice patience and fortitude. The wise, harmonized, and free human being is ultimately the happy human being. As we often explore in New Acropolis, true freedom isn't the absence of constraints, but the absolute mastery of our responses. The Stoic doctrine does not leave us with a bitter, teeth-gritting endurance of life. Quite the opposite. It culminates in a sense of active, serenely happy engagement with the world. When the sense of duty is stripped of its bitterness and anxious rumination, what remains is the pure joy of action, untethered from the desperate need for external rewards. You do the right thing simply because it is the right thing to do. You embrace your fate because it is yours. You master your reactions because that is the only true sovereignty available to a human being. As we often explore at New Acropolis, philosophy is not just something you read. It is a profound, living practice meant to be applied daily. If you are ready to stop merely existing and start mastering your inner world, we invite you to take the next step. New Acropolis has dozens of physical schools spread across the United States for those who want to practice this timeless philosophy in real life, alongside a community of like-minded seekers. Now it is time to transform your anxiety into unshakable strength. Please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and check the links in the description below to find a New Acropolis center near you. Embrace your fate, master your reactions, and step out of the maze. Your philosophical journey begins right now.